Alright, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy 360 Stacks in this thing, baby. Representing TKOG. Today I'm coming at you guys with an update on my branded DESPIA deck profile. I am definitely not running like a 60 card gas build that has been like more normalized and trending. A lot of people are opting to play that build. You guys probably know me by now with this deck. I'm kind of nice with it. I really enjoy like branded DESPIA as an archetype. It's literally like up there as one of my favorite decks. It is, in my opinion, I'm sorry, shitballs. It is the best fusion deck like ever printed. The deck just can do so many things. It has so many exploitable avenues. Pause. And has a lot of windows of opportunity to capitalize on punishing an opponent for hand trapping this deck correctly, which is actually insane. It's pretty gnarly. Not a lot of decks have that type of facet when approaching the matchup that like you can hand trap this deck correctly and actually get punished for it. But Branded DESPIA is just one of those decks right now in a hand trap heavy format. This deck opening enough engine and just drawing consistently good hands has been seen, known, and it's just infamous for playing through like 3 to 4 low and high impact hand traps. Nibiru does literally nothing to this deck at all. Ash Blossom is so easy to beat now. It's actually crazy how many cards can beat Ash. You guys can already see one of my tech cards that I'm playing. It's just really, really strong. It doesn't really lose to a lot of like non-engine that people are playing. And you're able to puppet lock through like Ash, Imperm, and Nib all simultaneously. The deck just doesn't care about Droll. It doesn't care about Shifter. It doesn't care about a lot of Floodgates. It cares little to like, it hardly ever cares about even spot removal unless like your Cartesia needs to fuse from field. It's just a really strong deck. It's able to pivot in so many different directions. It has so many resources allocated to its engine just by resolving 1 to 2 cards. You stay in the duel for so long, your boards are so sticky and nigh impregnable. I love the deck. It has a very special place in my heart. I think it's really strong. It's been cutting up this format. To be honest, like Brandon's just been going crazy. It really has. I'm going to show you guys my list. We'll talk about it. There's a couple cards that I don't have and I've been playing some pretty strong filler / replacements that almost feel like I've opted to retain those slots in my main deck and just figure out how I'm going to do it. Because I used to have thrusts. I picked up a playset of ulti thrusts. They were actually in my last profile for my Branded DESPIA deck. I ended up getting rid of those, so I have been messing around with different cards. But let's get into it. With Engine, we're on 3 copies of Opening, 3 copies of Fusion Deployment. You know your deck's insane when you have 6 E-Tellies, to be honest. This deck's crazy. We have 3 Branded Fusion. These are, in my opinion, the most powerful normal summons are always the ones that don't eat. The most powerful play starters are the ones that don't eat up your normal summon. We have 3 Owlbear cards, nasty. 3 Albats. This is the heart and soul of the deck. You'll literally go through 3 so expeditiously. I'm actually on 3 Cartesia. I like Cartesia a lot this format. There's a lot of targeting going around. There's Princess, there's hand traps. There is just so much. It's really good in the lab matchup as well. Double Quim. 1 Kit. I think Kit is an engine piece that's just a necessity. You have to play it, in my opinion. There's a lot of lines where not having access to it means you don't beat Ash. We have High Spirit, Foolish, and Goldstar. So like the 4 1-ups. I think that this deck's really strong. It's able to counterplay Droll. It insulates cards like Valor and Droll in draw phase with cards like Opening. It's able to dodge targeting effects like Mourner, Imperm, and Valor with Cartesia as well. Having Lost Up and just performing fusion summons allows you to beat every hand trap in the room. And pretty much it almost turns your opponent's engine entirely off. It's really good against the fire deck. You can puppet lock going second. You can break boards extremely well. There's like an abundant amount of hand traps out there, and like the only one that's actually good against this deck is Ash. And when you're able to beat Ash, you're not really worried about anything else. Normal summoning Albaz is even kind of crazy going into the fireboard. It's absolutely insane. Like Albaz is kind of nice with it. Albaz Lost is kind of nice with it. There's a lot of like 2-3 card combinations that can break the full fireboard, take their follow up away. You can banish their Flambirds with Mirror Jade, cut them off of Princess. It's just really, really, really prevalent. Deck's just nice. I like this deck a lot. I think it's really strong. It's a lot better than a lot of other decks right now. It is a deck that can break boards with Engine, which is a strength that not very many decks have. You can normal summon a Snake Eye Ash, and it's cool. I'm sure you could still break boards as long as your opponent doesn't have that many hand traps. But it's the non-engine that makes the fire deck so over the top, and the slots allocated for so much non-engine to simplify the game states, to make your opponent end on halfway boards and not be able to full combo. Brandon's able to full combo through 3 hand traps consistently, Ash included. And it's able to break boards with Engine. So it doesn't really... What's funny is that I can actually play like 12 non-Engine. And if I bring my deck up to 43, I can play 15 non-Engine. I can sacrifice ratios and play 15 non-Engine and still play 40. But because the deck doesn't need hand traps, I feel like it's a necessity if you're in an FTK format. Like if my opponent is literally like FTKing me turn 1, like I have to hand trap them. But if they're just making a board that I can break, like I like having every card in my hand be live. I have a lot of discards. My Engine is gas. It's really powerful. Yeah, hand traps are just, it's not necessitated in this type of build. It's a really, really strong deck. Opening is kind of insane right now because of Quim. Like, opening is just so gas, so broken. I've got hand traps to Oblivion and just, like, set an opening off of an Albion. And I'd be chilling with my Quim into Cartesia. Like, it's just so good. High Spirits is a necessity right now. Ash is so prevalent. It's in, like, every deck. You need it. Ash and Cartesia are how you, like, and Kit are how you frequently beat Ash. It's really funny. Like, you can get hand trapped and literally just puppet lock your opponent on their turn. I have a method where I'm playing around Bystios with cards like Mercurier, and with Lost Up, I can beat Super Poly and Droplet by doing the full puppet lock on the fusion summon windows, which counterplays Droplet and it counterplays Super Poly. You can end on boards that beat everything. Because, like, once you play through the hand traps, all you're really concerned is, like, do they have Super Poly or Droplets? So, like, even if they do, it's, like, the fact that you've done it through multiple hand traps puts them on, like, you really need a board breaker and Engine right now. So that's all the starters. Really, really, really insane how powerful this deck is. Oliver Engrave is just such an unprecedented threat. It's just, like, your graveyard really is your hand playing with this deck. It's really, really powerful. Albaz is just so strong in this Engine right now. I have so many lines where, like, I just have to end on, like, Albaz access twice. Like, I need 1 off red. Sometimes I just need 1 just to be able to summon back. And then I need another one for the Rimbrum line as well. Like, yeah, you need to play this. The 3 Cartesia is a little weird. I know some people just like 2. This card is a powerful normal summon, and my list is, like, able to just get Albaz everywhere all the time. I used to play 3 of the Baby Albion with the 3 Brandon in red to make this, like, more live, but it just felt like I was drawing redundant hands. The 3 Cartesia is just really, really powerful. A lot of the times, especially when you're playing around Ash, you will feel like this is the better normal summon, but she is the most superior extender in your entire deck. Like, you can get hand trapped on Alibur and hand trapped on Cartesia and still pass, and then just do the play on your opponent's turn. Just really, really strong. And this is without even having fusion duplication. So the deck's just really, really nice. I think 2 Quim is a necessity. You have to play 2, at least with the lines that I take. I know you could get away with 1, but there's a lot of times where, like, if I had the second one, it'd make my job a lot easier. I'm not saying you need it, but it definitely affords you different lines that allow you to insulate hand traps a lot better. So Engine requirements, I played just the 1 Tragedy, the 1 Merc. These are extremely accessible and recyclable. I wish with all my heart that I could play 3 Tragedy, 2 Merc, and 3 Allure, but I don't want to build my deck to play into cards that it already, like, doesn't lose to. So, like, this deck is infamous for being able to play Shifter and play Undershifter, and it doesn't really search a lot. Like, to be honest, you search off of Albert and then, like, with Lost Up, and you do in-phase stuff. Like, so you're Gucci. So I really like the all-gas build, but I also like the ability to deny my opponent, like, value out of their hand traps, which is super important. Mercurier, I have thought about playing 2. I do have, like, quite a few lines where, like, the second one is nice to have. You do go out of your way without the second one, I feel. I have set up, like, lost lines, which is really, really good, where I can beat Ash on the Branded Fusion by searching Merc and having up an Albaz Fusion through Cartesia and things and such in that nature, even with Brandon in red. But it almost feels like way to win more, because in those scenarios where I am ashing, Mercuriering the Ash, I feel like just letting the Ash resolve and the Branded Fusion be negated and just keeping the Engine that I already have, like, I can already puppet lock and beat my opponent. I'm just being greedy, and I'm basically trading the Merc for the Branded Fusion. But I feel like the Merc is more important because, like, I want to stop the Bystials if they're trying to stop my puppet lock. So, I don't know. I've been getting a lot better with how I use my Merc and when I use it. The card's just really, really gnarly. It's insane. It's one of the few negates the deck actually has. We have Baby Albion. Ad libitum. This card is cuttable and debatable, but however, like, when your Branded Fusion gets Ash, this card is just insane. Like, it's just like between this and Quim, like, you get Ashed and like you can really just like piggyback on like Mirror Jade 3 times, like honestly. And once you resolve Mirror Jade twice, like you're not dying, you're not losing, and you know you're gonna win because your follow-up's just better. And then I do play Puppet. I never side this out no matter what the matchup is. This card is literally like the fire deck already has so much follow-up that like you can trade resources with them, and sure, like body for body, card for card, you know, effect for effect. We can do this all day long. We can play for 30 minutes in a game one, or I can break your board and puppet lock you so that your follow-up doesn't matter. So I never excite this card out. In the mirror match, I don't even put it in because I just use their puppet against them. Once you get better with this deck, you'll start to understand that this deck literally has like 70 plus lines that are actually valid and like relevant right now this format. And there's even more. Like this is a spreadsheet deck, you know, like you just got to know your lines. It's just crazy. More engine requirements. I'm on double red and then 1 white. I would never cut white ever. I've never cut it. Every time I think about cutting it, there's like lines that I don't have access to that let me play through hand traps better, that allow Albert to do more going second than he normally is able to. Brandon to red's broken. I love having to. I like being able to access it on my turn and not having to burn like Retribution or Tragedy. I think 2 is absolutely correct this format. Like you can play 1, it's totally fine. Another card that I've gone back and forth over is actually the Branded Loss. It's really, really, really powerful. Like honestly, I like it because like the Lubellion does get stopped, and like your Albert can be another line to access the Branded Loss, and ending on loss is so important. By the way, there's 2 cards that are not in my main deck, which are literally just Lubellion and Sarnier. They are currently in my Dragon Maid / Dragon Link deck right now. I was just kind of lazy because I'm trying to like load up on content. So I'm missing 2 cards. It should be a 43 main deck if I'm not mistaken. The last 2 engine requirements are Banishment and Retribution. Cards are really insane. Banishment is something that people... So like these 2 are obviously cuttable, like indebatable. I'm playing basically 4 cards that you don't have to play, which are the Second Loss, the Brandon White, and the Ad Libitum. And you can really preface to say that can be 3 more non-engine. But I have to say that the lines that they provide me through Interruption is the reason why they're there. If people weren't playing so many hand traps, I wouldn't be pigeonholed into making some unorthodox decisions and have people like flabbergasted at why I'm playing what appears to be a win more card when it's really not win more, when it's like I just need to win in the first place. Like I can't get hand trapped and not be able to puppet lock and like end on like 1-2 interruptions. Like I still want to have the interruptions that can match my opponent's economics. So if I got hand trapped twice or 3 times, I want an interruption for every card they have in their hand. Like that's just how I play Branded, because the deck already does so well with grinding, and its resources just come every in phase. You can get like a +6. The follow-up's always there. You just want to survive, and in order to survive, you need to match your opponent card for card sometimes. It'd really be like that, especially against the fire deck. So for non-engine, it's literally 3 multi-roll. And this is because I got rid of my thrust. So like now the idea is I want to play 3 thrust, 2 talent, 1 clawbite, and 3 multi-roll. Because this card's broken. This card actually, I don't even know why I never thought about multi-roll. Card is disgusting. I was thinking about being crazy and like playing into draw by like putting in 3 engage and 3 multi-roll. I even thought about like a 1-of Eagle Booster, so like I can resolve Branded Fusion and combo in the EMZ and like Eagle Booster if my opponent has a hand trap. It just felt like win more too. The main thing is that your opponent is not going to be able to like Bisteel or Bell like your fusions like Branded in red and Branded in white. Your opponent is not going to be able to interact with your Branded Fusion and your Fusion deployment and like all your power spells like opening. This card is priority. I recommend anyone that's playing Branded to just try it. It literally actually is like better sometimes than thrust. Like it sure there's scenarios where, like you won't even be able to thrust sometimes, but like I'd rather be proactive than reactive. Like I can have thrust for the Ash, I can have talents for the hand trap, or like I can tell my opponent keep your dead cards. So I really like this card. It has been very, very good. I don't know how you guys feel about even putting Sky Striker cards in your Branded deck. You might feel filthy, but personally I am a bit of an idiot savant, and I really do like trying new tech cards. I do a lot of research, and I'm never afraid to try something different, something new. And as long as it works, whether it's non-conventional or not, like it doesn't matter if everybody plays it. All that matters is the performance. And if the card does what you need it to do, play freaking 3 Ojamas in your deck. You know what I mean? So that's the main deck. The extra is double Grand, double Mirror Jade, and double Albion. I stand by these being the only cards that I cannot play any less than 2 in my extra deck. Cards are literally insane. This card is just wow. Like, this is the best fusion deck. This is the best fusion in my extra deck, in my opinion. This card's broken. Like, this card, like, you already weren't really losing in Nibiru in the first place, but this card makes, like, people nibbing me. I actually, you know what's funny is, like, 60% of the time, people nibbing you extend your combo. You're like, wow, thank you. I could do more than I thought I could. Thank you, bro. We have the 1 Lubellion, 1 Titaniclad, 1 Rinbrum. We have 1 Sanctifier. Card is literally gas. I miss the days when I was stealing people's Barons, but now I'm just a humble guy. I'm taking people's, like, boss monsters still. Card's nuts. I'm taking people's Flamberges. I'm taking people's SPs. I'm taking whatever the heck I want, to be honest. Sanctifier is broke. It reminds me of Shark Cannon. I can play any deck in the room. This card's really, really crazy. It helps with your Labyrinth matchup as well. Chaining this to, like, anything so that you can take their Lovely and their Big is not going to have the same value. This card has a lot of underlying factors and nuances and niches that make it so good that whether you're able to puppet lock or not, this is still vital as a piece to your inboard and as a part of diversifying your interactions and disruptions on your opponent's turn. So this card is always coming. It's always coming out in, like, on my turn or my opponent's turn. I'm always summoning it. The Guardian Chimera, the Furious. These cards help you against Rogue. Mirror Jade and, like, the rest of your extra deck really deal well with like a lot of the combo decks. But, like, you just want to be able to actually interact with back row. You don't just want to sit here with the Mirror Jade and, like, they set 5 pass and, like, what are you supposed to do? So these cards are imperative. This also allows your crackback to be even stronger because Furious allows you to continuously dodge targeting effects on top of everything else. Dragosiphilia, this is like a safety net. It's kind of a fallback plan. We have the Cordis. We have the Luluwalowith. I'm not on Super Poly right now. I think the card's kind of broken. But the format's just so wild card. And, like, I like it. I don't think it's bad. But I also like the fact that I get to keep the 2 options that I really opted to. Because if I played Super Poly, these 2 would be cut. And, like, I would just put in Garuda, Mud Dragon and Garuda. And, like, honestly, Super Poly going second does let you dodge targeting effects on Albert even harder, which is really nice. Set Albaz, like, Super Poly their board away. It's pretty nice. But the second one is just too good. And, again, it's the similar concept of the Banishment, the Ad Libitum, and, like, the second Brandon in red, like, the white. Like, you are able to beat hand traps in interactions. And to be honest, I respect hand traps more than I respect engines because this deck's engine is just better. A lot of the times, if you go face-to-face with fire and you both get to combo, like, and if you're trading inboard for inboard, this deck's inboard's just better. This deck's follow-up's just better. The strength that Fire has over this deck is, like, its ability to play so much non-engine. But that's, to be honest, and I'm not saying Fire's bad, but I always look at it like, when a deck is able to play so much non-engine, it's because its engine's not good enough on its own. And this deck is self-sustaining, self-reliant, and, like, sufficient enough to, like, make optimal plays through disruptions and still have enough disruptions on its own to be able to stifle your opponent's plays, proactive or reactive. Proactive if you want to puppet lock, reactive if you just want to, like, Guardian Chimera Mirror Jade them 2 or 3 times and put them on a wing and a prayer. So I like the deck a lot. I enjoy Brandon. I'm a huge enthusiast and a fanatic of this deck. Thank you so much for watching the video. God bless you. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. Look at all my Brandon DESPIA content. Type the name of my channel and type the words Brandon DESPIA. You will find probably at least 100 videos, combo tutorials, etc. I do everything with this deck. I've been playing it for a really long time. Just let me know what you think, and definitely if you want to learn more about the deck, I'm not the best Brandon DESPIA player in the world, but I'm definitely not trash with it. Peace.